So Bill Cipher has a little Q&A section in the intro of his new book, with the final question being, is it true you're the biological father of Phineas from Phineas and Ferb? To which Bill answers,
This interview is over!
now this is just a cute little joke. No one could ever craft an insane theory about how this could be the biggest secret in the Disney TVA multiverse that changes the way we look at both of these characters, right? Right? Oh. As egregious as it sounds, the more I think about it, the more I'm starting to believe that this is actually a pretty fun idea that, while would never be confirmed, could work with a lot of stretching. And not just because Phineas has a Dorito-shaped head and Bill is, well, a Dorito. After overthinking this for far too many hours, I have to share what I've been cooking. Bill Cipher does have a motive for bringing Phineas into this world, even if his plans fell apart on account of getting dumped by Linda. Join me as I break down how the beloved Phineas Flynn might have been born for the sole purpose of being one of Bill Cipher's tools. A path to unleashing Weirdmageddon. It's time to really ponder the question, is Bill Cipher really Phineas's biological father? Also, if you're new to the channel or feeling a stroll down memory lane, be sure to check out Roundtable Rewind, a new channel that has a bunch of Roundtable videos old and new, re-edited into themed compilations. We got 4 out right now on Gravity Falls, Steven Universe, Regular Show, and a Cartoon Variety Hour with more on the way. And if you want to help us afford more amazing art, like this thumbnail by the homie Jakey Bones, consider supporting us for only $1 over on our Patreon. Thank you so much for your continued support. Now let's get into it. Throughout Gravity Falls, Bill Cipher has been laser focused on one goal and one goal only: unleash Weirdmageddon. Even in the current purgatory-like state he's in during the book, he's hell-bent on getting the reader to shake the hand of his petrified corpse, buried deep in the woods of Gravity Falls, so that he can possess their body and activate one of the remaining portals on Earth, allowing the Nightmare Realm to invade once more as Weirdmageddon strikes back with a vengeance. And the Book of Bill makes it clear that Bill has had this goal long before Forward Pines was in the picture. For as long as he's resided on Earth, Bill has gone through many ponds in an attempt to access many portals, but for one reason or another, he's failed every single time. So let me ask you this. Do you really think that in the 30 years Ford was off planet, Bill didn't try to get anyone else to build a portal for him? Obviously, he still had an eye on the Mystery Shack's portal, but I don't think Bill was betting everything on Stan getting it up and running, because he knew Stan was street smart, but not necessarily book smart. It'd make things a whole lot easier if Stan did figure things out, but Bill needs to put his eggs in other baskets if he wants to get this apocalypse off the ground anytime soon. But partners just aren't that reliable. Sooner or later, they use their brain and realize that Bill is kinda sketchy, and they break things off. Ford, the shaman, the pharaoh, all on bad terms with Bill after their lives began to unravel thanks to his involvement. So he needs to take a different approach. One that, in his eye, ensures that he has undying loyalty. He wants a pawn that could love him unconditionally and want to achieve his goals. Someone he could mold into a harbinger of doom without them ever realizing it. He wants to have a child, and not just an average kid who no one understands. This kid needs to be a prodigy who puts everyone at Harvard to shame. Their naivety and familial connection to Bill preventing them from defying the Dream Demon. Because that's Papa, and Papa knows best. Now, who do we know out there in the Disney TVA multiverse that's really, really smart? Really capable? Someone who could construct something along the lines of, I don't know, an interdimensional portal? Only one kid really fits the bill: Phineas Flynn. I mean, obviously, Ferb deserves just as much credit for their inventions. They're a duo, but for argument's sake, I'll point out that Ferb usually follows orders, while Phineas is the one cooking up the plans. I know what we're gonna do today is his catchphrase. His name comes first in the show title. He's the leader, it is what it is. Phineas is not only resourceful, creative, and highly intelligent, but the dude works fast. Within the span of an afternoon, he and his brother created Winter in the middle of June, a legion of breakdancing robots, a freaking time machine, and of course, portals. Not to mention that Phineas is relentlessly optimistic and sees the best in people. And as a result, it's easy for him to be led astray and have the wrong read on situations. A great example of this can be found in the Chronicles of Meep with Mitch. This guy was bad news. An intergalactic poacher and Meep's arch rival who was ready to treat Phineas, Ferb, and Isabella as 3 more additions to his collection. But it took Phineas way too long to connect the dots. Believing that Mitch was Meep's father who Meep was desperately searching for with the goal of reuniting. In reality, Meep was a security agent determined to take Mitch the bitch down. So it's reasonable to think that even without a human disguise, Bill could finesse Phineas with minimal effort. Feed him a sob story, and next thing you know, the boys are aiding an apocalypse. And just like Mabel, they wouldn't realize the gravity of the situation until shit already hit the fan. Toss the title of father into the mix, and Phineas may never come to his senses. Now, even if we have the motive all figured out, we still don't know how Bill would actually go about having a kid. He's the only surviving Euclidean, and without a physical form, he can't interact with anyone on Earth beyond the mindscape. He can lure people into making deals so he sells their body, but who would be gullible or desperate enough to make a deal with the devil? Heinz Doofenshmirtz, anyone trying to break into the entertainment industry. Where am I going with this? Well,
a musical act goes to the top of the charts with a catchy tune and meaningless lyrics.
Do you guys remember when Lindana transcended to superstar status and won the hearts of millions across the globe? It was the 1980s. What else happened in the 80s? Oh yeah, Ford getting sent flying into a portal by his twin brother. Already, the timeline's kinda adding up. I imagine that Lindana blew up in the latter half of the decade, given that her date with Doofenshmirtz happened in the first half, and becoming a pop singer was still nothing more than a dream in her eyes. We don't really know that much about Lindana's career, other than her diva tantrums costing her everything, but if I had to guess, she met Candace and Phineas' biological father during this short-lived run. Mostly because the series is set in the late 2000s, when Candace is already 14 going on 15, and Phineas is believed to be between 7 and 12, which means Candace was born in the early 90s, right after Linda retired. So unless she met someone as soon as she threw in the towel, immediately hit it off, and then had 2 kids with them, I'm thinking the father was in the music industry. Maybe it was the owner of the record label at the time. Maybe it was another singer or songwriter, or a producer. That part doesn't really matter. What does matter is that Linda wants to start a family sooner than later, not just because she finds the idea beautiful, but also because she has a deal with Bill. Linda wanted a successful music career, so Bill came to her in a dream and offered fame and fortune beyond her wildest dreams. But in return, she owes him the birth of a prodigy. But why would Bill set his sights on someone in entertainment? Isn't it more beneficial to keep a low profile? The book of Bill hammers in that he loves the spotlight, but even beyond that, the answer is pretty simple. Money! If Bill has a pond with a buttload of money, then they'll definitely be able to afford not only construction for a new portal, but the resources and education needed to raise a super genius. And on that note, who knows how possession could affect the genes getting passed down the family lineage? Bill has all the secrets to the universe. He's clearly a pretty knowledgeable guy. So maybe that's already setting his kids up for success. Maybe he imbued Linda with some of his dream demon magic so that his vast knowledge and his triangle-shaped body would be passed down to one of her kids. That's right, Phineas's big brain and pizza-shaped head. Perks of being quarter Euclidean, baby. And that's where we should probably talk about Candace. Much like how one kid might get the color of their dad's hair while the other gets their mom's, Candace ended up taking after her mom more than anyone else. No high IQ, no affinity for inventing stuff. She turned out pretty normal, which drove Bill crazy because he didn't want someone average, he wanted his prodigy. But he knew he finally had one the moment he laid eyes on Phineas's peculiar skull. And that's when he started tweaking. What if once Phineas was born, Bill's mask started to slip a little bit? As soon as Phineas was able to walk and talk, Bill went all in, putting more and more pressure on Linda to put Phineas through the gauntlet of quantum physics and engineering. The stress of it all was ruining her marriage and Phineas's life. She hit a breaking point and ended up defying Bill. She wanted her son to have a shot at a normal life, not wind up as some weirdo's pet project. But at this point, Lindana already threw in the towel, so there was nothing keeping her deal in effect. Bill was dumped again. With her marriage in shambles, Linda had to cut her losses and get back into the dating scene, ending up with the man who would become Phineas's real father, Lawrence Fletcher.
Okay, it was bound to happen sooner or later. Somebody finally figured out who Phineas's real dad is.
Just because someone's not your biological dad doesn't make them not your real dad. And that is what the creators of the show wanted you to know.
To be honest, we weren't trying to hide it at all.
Okay, so obviously, Bill isn't actually Phineas's dad, but again, my brain just went down a rabbit hole of utter insanity, and I just had to let this one rip. Mainly because I thought the thumbnail would be funny. And I was right! How do you think Bill and Phineas could be related? Got any ideas that are a little less, Jujutsu Kaisen than this one? Let us know in the comments down below. And keep the theories going over on Twitter and Insta at OstricVox and at Roundtable Vids. Shout out to Jinky Bones for another dope thumbnail. Give him a follow at Jinky Bone over on Twitter. And check out Toon Drip for some dope cartoon merch. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like and subscribe to the Roundtable for more great cartoon content. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have an awesome day. Peace.